Freddie, do you think we're seeing enough of the quality of English rugby to think that they can go to New Zealand and win a tour? They've got the Japan game, hopefully not missed any, I should know my rugby. So it's Japan in Japan against Eddie Jones and Japan. And then they've got to go to New Zealand, which we all know is a horrible place to go and play, a wonderful place to go and play. Off the back of a World Cup, them making a final, England making a semi-final, England potentially not going fully loaded. But have the two English teams here today, and they've got the minerals to go down there and do something against the All Blacks.
Yeah, I think so. And I think the most important thing is the combinations we're starting to see. Like that England back line will probably be made up of quite a lot of Saints players. So there's already that cohesion. We've already spoke about it. That debate around who plays at 10 will be huge.
Who is that for you?
I would go Marcus. I'd give Marcus a run at it. But it wouldn't surprise me with the combinations, as I said, between Mitchell and Finn Smith, whether they stick to that. But that Japanese game's going to be tough in the heat. They get through that. They're down in Dunedin for the first test. And New Zealand rugby is going through a bit of a transition at the minute. You know, the Crusaders, the force that they used to be, aren't quite that same force. So I think England have got a realistic chance to go down there and upset a few people and actually come away with at least a series draw, if not a series win.
Yeah, you can speak to this even more because you spent some time down in New Zealand as well. And you're in Japan, and there's a lot of All Blacks. Well, a load of world-class players playing down there from all countries, but there's a lot of All Blacks down there as well. When you say they're a team in transition, they made the final. I know that Sam Cane has now left. They've got a new coach in Scott Robinson and Razor. What a legend. But what else do you mean by that? Do you just mean there's a change of guard, or the way they're playing, or their identity?
Yeah, it's more the change of guard. Obviously, I know Bowden Barrett went back to the Blues after the Japanese season. I'm not sure whether he even played, just to almost potentially be available to play for New Zealand. But what I mean is, it's that transition period. Mo'unga's gone abroad. They've lost that combination, and the Crusaders for so long were stacked with the All Blacks, similar to like Leinster with Ireland, and that's no longer there anymore. So I feel like I don't think New Zealand are going to be the same force. Are they going to be a rollover? Of course not. It's going to be a hard test series, but I think this will be England's best chance to get something done.
Alfie Barbary, just finish your bit on New Zealand. So team in transition. They're going down there as England. The fact that we're even questioning that a player of Alfie Barbary's quality might miss out. You look at the back row, again, me and Cadan talking about it, absolutely stacked for England. Like, you could have picked any of them playing today, obviously, apart from Augusta because he's South African. But just give us an idea, a little bit more kind of detail into that when you mean that, are you saying it could be tough for New Zealand, or?
No, I do. I just think England have an opportunity. I don't feel like it's the New Zealand of old. There's still some great players there. I'm not saying this is going to be a New Zealand B team down there. It's going to be tough, but there is an opportunity, and I feel like there's players playing in the Premiership right now that are performing at a standard that can go down there and really give it to them. I think during the World Cup and England's progression is they became a very hard team to beat, and now they're starting to layer in that attack so they can go out and win games. So if they can layer in what they did, we talk about South Africa in the semi-final of the World Cup, we spoke about it before, like that sort of kicking game being hard to beat. We now have players, Alfie Barbary, the Freemans of the world. We have game breakers in an England squad that can do damage and really go there and cause New Zealand trouble. So that's what I mean. I'm just excited to see, A, where they go with selection, but B, we've got now physicality, a smart coaching setup, and game breakers all over the pitch.
Yeah. Okay, what do you think, mate? I think the big thing for me, and I'm going to kind of feed you something you can maybe talk about, because of quality, right? So the back three, seems like England are unsure on who the best back three are. And then the back row as well. And they are massive components, like all positions, but them units, like England have got to get that right, and they've got some big decisions to make with the quality they've got.
100%. I think you look at the Premiership as a whole, how competitive it's been this year. It was the closest Premiership ever. People in 7th with 1 round to go could have made it into the top 4. And the quality of English players coming through, young academy players that are being backed by some brilliant coaches like Sam Vesti at Northampton, and the boys that are coming to the fore, I think, are putting their hand up for international selection. And I think, like you said, back row, back three, you could toss a coin on most of the players because you could chuck anyone in there and they'll do an unbelievable job. I think it's going to be very close. But
I'll chuck this man in the back three, mate.
Yeah, you're struggling with a niggle though, aren't you?
Yeah, sadly, Hammy went.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Second last game of the season. So
Trinidad and Tobago.
I've watched some cricket over there.
There you go. Who plays cricket and watches cricket? Oh, not me.
Trinidad and Tobago sounds nice.
Yeah, very true. We've got a few cricketers that listen to it. As a player, when you're in the changing rooms and you're watching the World Cup and all this, Cadan, What are they saying about the All Blacks? Have they lost that mystique? When I was younger, and I played against them a few times, you get hammered, right? Because they were the best. They had the Carters, the Marnonus, Richie McCaws, Kieran Reeds, like the GOATs in all positions. What are the lads saying now when they look at the All Blacks? Is there still that kind of mystique, or do you think it might have gone a little?
100%. They've still got some of the best players in the world over there. But like Freddie hit the nail on the head earlier, like watching some of the Super Rugby Pacific, I think the likes of the Crusaders, they're not dominating like they were. They won however many titles in a row and they didn't even make the playoffs this year. So they are in a transition period. A lot of players abroad, a lot of players not fit. So there's a massive chance for this young English squad, people who've been playing well in the Premiership, to go over there and shock the rugby world, to be honest. I think they can go over there. I mean, I'm going to big up some boys from Quins as well here. Finn Baxter, Chandler Cunningham South. They're raw players, but you don't learn that test match, like quality, that test match level, without being chucked in the deep end and going out there. And what better place to do it than Japan against Eddie Jones and then over in New Zealand?
Yeah, it's been awesome. Anything else you want to say, Freddie? We all done? We all done here?
I'm all done, mate.
We're last men standing.
Are we?
Yeah, we're last men standing. TNT boys are
On
over
that,
there.
just on that summer tour, I will just add, that Japan test will be a proper test. 3 o'clock, is it Yokohama they're playing? 3 o'clock in the afternoon in the blistering heat.
What kind of heat we talking?
Probably talking 30, but it'll be the humidity as well. It'll be close. I think it'll probably be 30 plus humidity. I did hear that Eddie Jones tried to get the kickoff to midday just to try.
Oh, really?
So England were trying to push it. England were trying to push it back for like a 7 o'clock at night, and Eddie Jones like no, 12 o'clock. So I think they met in the middle at like 3. But that's going to be tough because they're going to play a Japanese team that'll just be chomping at the bit. But it'll be a great preparation for them. And on the New Zealand thing as well, the transition is the guys like Aaron Smith's not involved anymore. Richie Morongo's not involved anymore. These guys.
Captain's gone.
Yeah, captain's gone. These guys that have been like the go-to 100 cappers, all these big games, they're no longer there. So they'll be looking at those guys to come through, which is where England's opportunity lies.
Isn't rugby in a bloody good place? Do you know what I mean? With all the ups and downs that has happened, okay, and you would have been in the mix of that with COVID and then the finances. I know we're not quite through it yet, but being at the Champions Cup final at Tottenham, being at the Prem final today, we're talking about this tour that England have got down to New Zealand via Japan. South Africa have got Ireland coming, and thank you, Damien De Allende, for fueling the fire around that. Scotland have got the big one, mate. They're off to Washington to play the US and Chile and Uruguay and all these. I'm jesting on that part of it. But, mate, you must be buzzing to be still playing professionally and playing in the Prem, right?
Oh, 100%. There was a dark time in rugby a couple of years ago where you didn't know where it was going to go, but it all starts on the pitch. And I think the quality of rugby over, like I said, this Premiership this season is unbelievable. The URC is really close as well. So everywhere, I think there are developing talents coming out of everywhere. And I think, rugby's on a massive high at the moment. And we just need to build the superstars of the game and get younger audience into the game. Doing stuff like this, interacting with players, making your Finn Smith, your Marcus Smiths the face of the game. I think that's where rugby needs to go to take that next step as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's what we're doing. Big congratulations to Northampton and the Prem. Big thank you to the Prem, actually, for letting us be pitch side, and TNT. They had a bit of influence to that. Freddie, when you back to Japan?
September, mate. So I'm hoping,
gosh.
I'm hoping people will hear a bit more of me singing Robbie Williams' Angels.
Well, there you go. Freddie's available for after dinner.
Yeah, anything, just any gigs.
You got all the stories. Awesome. Caden, mate, awesome to have you pitch side. Freddie, we're on RugbyPass TV. This is going out as a podcast.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everyone. Like, subscribe, comment, rinse us. It doesn't matter. Thank you to the team.